Stop. It's difficile. Why laugh so hard? We do have one take with the complete story. Let me do one more take with that. Hello. This is an unscripted video, which is why I am talking as I normally do, and I'm also dressed as I normally am in a complete, with a tie and with a jacket. This is how I like to dress. But anyways, I've been meaning to try this out on the channel for a while. I was injured this week, so costume changes and typing and editing is a bit difficult. So I thought I'll try it out this week. I can, of course, talk about why I'm injured, why there are two forks taped to my hand. And that story starts 2 weeks ago. We'll convert the screen to sepia or black and white. And I was washing clothes. I was washing my clothes in the washing machine. It's a semi-automatic washing machine. Yes, that's how all semi-automatic washing machines are architectured. They don't really draw the designs out. They just sort of go to the office and they're like semi-automatic washing machine, and the engineers just figure it all out. So I was washing my clothes in a semi-automatic washing machine when the last batch, the blacks, the darks, were spinning in the dryer, and I was just sort of looking at them. The word I've used to relay the incident to my friends and family is distracted, and I think that's really the best way to put it. That the clothes were spinning, and I was looking at them, and I was sort of distracted by, how spinning things look good. I don't know how many people are willing to admit that observation from their childhood, that things spinning fast, as their solid pattern fades away into circular rings. It looks good, it looks pretty, and it looks like your hand will pass right through, but it won't, as I discovered 2 weeks ago. Your hand won't just pass through spinning things. So I did position the camera so I could move around a bit. I hope I don't go out of the view because I can't actually check it as I'm recording it. Oh, let me not sit there. Let me sit differently this time. So 2 weeks ago, I stuck my hand in a washing machine dryer. That's what we've covered so far. I immediately experienced a lot of pain. And I forgot to do the bit about this is still a sketch channel. So I do want to emphasize that this is still a sketch channel, and I will be screaming that to the camera 3 years down the line when I am making mukbang videos. But this is still a sketch channel. So I stuck my hand in a dryer. I thought it was a sprain, so I just treated it with rice. That's what you're supposed to do with sprains. Stick them in a bowl of rice. No, the usual rest compression. What's the I? I is ice. That's what I did. Rest, ice, compression, elevation. I did that 2 weeks, and the pain was still there. So I thought I'll go to a doctor. Went to an orthopedic. Interesting thing about the orthopedic. I read the board outside. I read that he was an MS orthopedic, which means he's done a master's. And I went in, and there was this banner that said, not word for word, but the banner said, "All pains will be cured. Infinite youth." And there was more stuff like that. It was all pains will be cured, infinite youth, no side effects. Come try it out, stuff like that. And I was obviously alarmed. What did I walk into over here? And I read until I got to the bottom of the banner where it said the name of the doctor. It was a different name from the orthopedic guy. And I relayed my fear and doubt to the receptionist. And she explained to me that, there's this other guy, the naturopathy guy. I think I'm allowed to do air quotes for naturopathy. It's an alternative medicine. Is actually the guy running the naturopathy thing is actually and the father of the guy who's the orthopedic. And I just had this immense respect for the orthopedic's, I don't know, love for his father, or just consideration, because he must have returned with a master's degree and said to his father that I'm going to open up a clinic in this place. And his father said to him, son, while you've been away studying bones and stuff, I've also been studying one of the healing arts. And I was thinking we could set up shop together, yeah? And this son just had the heart, and he didn't care about, had the heart to say yes. And he didn't care about the fact that this would obviously impact his brand or the trustworthiness of the clinic if they're, very openly endorsing a naturopathy doctor next to an actual doctor. And so that's interesting that something like this could exist. You'd think the son would be vehemently opposed to all forms of alternative medicine, but I guess not. Or maybe that is what they teach you in the final course for a master's program in bones. They tell you, well, most of this stuff works well, but the final level of bone treatment is naturopathy, where you are promised infinite youth, no side effects, and the cure to all pains. So that was interesting. But I got an appointment with the son. I was very clear about not wanting to see the father, and he asked me to get an x-ray. I got him the x-ray, and he was sort of looking up at the x-ray. I think he held it like this, and then he looked back at me and he said, it's a hairline fracture. And I said, I know, that's why I combed it forward. He said, no, I'm talking about the x-ray. He said, I said, oh. And he made it clear to me that it may be a hairline fracture, may not. He advised me to keep my fingers straight, not to bend them in. And at the same time, he didn't actually have anything to keep my fingers straight. So he just sort of tied a bunch of sticky bandages around them that you can't see under the tape. But I went to the pharmacy. I asked them, how do I keep my fingers straight? And he suggested a splint. I said, oh, do you have it? And he said, no, he's out of splints. So I said, oh, I'll just buy it from the other pharmacy. And in an attempt to not let me engage with the other pharmacy, he suggested that I just tape 2 forks to my fingers. And I thought to myself, why not, So that's what I did. I got home. I had a lot of these forks because I order out every weekend. And even though I always take do not send cutlery, they always send cutlery. I don't know what's up with that. Either that button's broken on Zomato, or those guys never read that button, but I have a lot of wooden forks and spoons, and I've been thinking of doing something with them. Maybe opening an alternative splint clinic is what they're really for. I'll tell you what I'm proudest of, though. It's the bit of tissue between the fork on the inside and my hand. Because without that tissue, I'd get a callus. I am certain. Because I put this on at night when I returned from the doctor's clinic, and I woke up in the morning and a callus was already beginning to form. And I put the tissue there, and I don't even know it's there, the fork. I can't notice its presence. So that was a stroke of genius, and that is as much modesty as I can say that with. That's how I came to have 2 forks taped to my hand with a tissue. Of course, when people asked me at the office what this was, I told them it was a revolutionary new procedure where they were replacing my fingers with forks. You should have seen the look of envy on their faces, It's just much easier to eat this way. The other great thing about having forks taped to my hand is that I often go out a lot. I walk a lot. And the wind often screws up my hair, which is combed forward because of the hairline fracture. So I'll often I don't need to pull out a comb, I just do this, and it's fixed. It is flawless. And you know what? I think this take has been very dense, and I think I'll use this take